Hey, it's been a long time. Doing another real talk. I'm Eddy Sidewalk. Yay! This is my special guest tonight, Mr. What's your name again?
Mark Parsons.
This is Mark Parkinson's.
Mark Parkinson's, yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna talk to him tonight and find out what makes him tick. So where are you from, Mark?
I'm from Southern California.
Whereabouts?
I'm from the desert, a little town called Victorville.
Is that anywhere near like Chico?
No, Southern California. If you drove from LA to Las Vegas, you would go through Victorville.
So it's nowhere near San Diego anymore.
No, it's the high desert.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
near Apple Valley, Roy Rogers, Dale Evans.
Okay, you know Amy's related to Roy Rogers.
She is?
Yeah, she's a distant cousin.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know.
interesting, huh?
I used to bowl with Roy Rogers on a
Really?
bowling team.
That's her distant cousin.
Oh, really? Well, it's good to know.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my wife we're talking about. Most of you that know me know who Amy is as well.
He's related to Roy and Dale, and they're both gone. And I went to school with, I believe his name was Dusty. One of them, Dusty, threw up and died in his own vomit or something. They had a whole tragic, they have a museum in Victorville, and they had a whole kind of tragic adopted family life.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Were you friends with them at all?
Dusty, my sister was friends with Dusty, but my father's lawyer was the same as Roy's lawyer, so I knew a lot about them from that. And I went to school with the lawyer's son, so two names that were John. So it was weird. We had this weird relationship with Roy and Dale. This was after they had retired from Hollywood and they came to the high desert and bought the Apple Valley Ranch. And you know, I just remember hearing a lot of things.
Have you ever been to the Apple Valley Ranch?
Yeah.
Like with them?
I've been at a big fundraiser with them. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, my claim to fame is, besides the fact that I was on MTV twice.
Oh.
I'll show it to you sometime. I did a video called, it was called Travelers, the Real World. And it was about us young punk rockers traveling around the country and riding trains and hitchhiking and stuff. Pretty much what Amy and I did and a lot of my friends did. And so we're on there in LA. They got footage of us in LA. And I played the blade of grass, you know, while my friend Boyd, rest his soul, he's gone now, sings a song that he wrote. And so I do that. Then he goes bow, 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 and spits and grunts or whatever. And I rap.
Okay.
I've been rapping for quite some time. But anyways, it's pretty funny. You should see it. And I can point out all my friends too.
Okay.
A lot of them. Most of them aren't alive anymore, but there's still some that are out there. But yeah, and then I was in a Black Rob video. Black Rob's an old rapper. And they paid us $200 to jump up and down constantly from sundown to sunup to the same verse over and over again. You don't ever see my face before, you don't know me, whoa.
Okay.
Over and over and over again. And then the girl I was dating, it was cardboard boxes that were supposed to be like a fake stage. And while Black Rob is hooked up to a rope on the side of this big, huge abandoned battleship. We're in an abandoned shipyard
In New York? Okay.
Yeah. He's swinging, bouncing back and forth on this rope, this regular rope wrapped around his waist, going, whoa, like this, while we're jumping up and down. And the girl I was dating at the time, she tries to stage dive off the cardboard, slips and falls, and breaks her arm.
Wow.
So we had to leave early, and we're like, we want our money now, so they gave us our money. Anyways, enough of me. What made you move out to San Francisco?
I went to college in the Pacific Northwest at Evergreen, and it was like Santa Cruz. There were no grades, and then after college, I moved here to San Francisco in 1976. And I
Right around the Ashbury times?
no much after the loved the hippie era. That was a decade later. That would have been 70. I was still in high school.
Oh, okay.
I moved here right at the heart of the political movement, kind of the gay political movement.
Was
Harvey
Harvey
Milk.
Milk, yeah.
Yeah, I was part of that crowd, and I was part of that whole.
Did you ever get to meet him? That guy was supposed to be really great, wasn't he?
Well, to tell the truth, between you and me, I think he was a local politician. I don't think he had a future as a national figure, but I think that he had he was pretty much local. He was from New York, but and of course he died, and I remember that really well.
He was shot.
They were both shot, and the most important story of that was that Dianne Feinstein, she was the president of the board of directors, and she'd just gone to, not Kathmandu, but where they go to camp. She had a boyfriend, Blum, who she's married to. She'd gone to the mountain in, where, and came back the day before and decided she had no career in politics. She didn't have a future. She was never going to get elected at more than the board of supervisors. And then that next day she came to work, and she found them both, and they were shot. And that's kind of what launched her political career. But she doesn't say much anymore about it. She doesn't talk about it, but that's what happened. And then she became mayor, and that kind of became the beginning of her big career.
Was there any kind of conspiracy theories running around with that?
No, that was just a disgruntled board of supervisors man who he resigned from the board of supervisors because they didn't get paid much. He was a cop, a former cop, and then he wanted his position back, and the mayor was fucking with him, Moscone was fucking with him. He wasn't certain he was going to let him have his board of supervisors back. He came in City Hall in the lower window with a gun, and he shot Harvey first and walked across the hall and shot Moscone. And Dianne Feinstein heard the sounds, and she was the daughter of a doctor, and her ex-husband was a doctor, and she discovered them both. And so I just remember that really well. I remember where I was. I know the phone lines went dead in San Francisco when that happened. So
really,
yeah, that kind of set the tone for a long time. The tweaking events.
It still hasn't come back.
Yeah, he got off. He didn't get off, but he got reduced to manslaughter, and he spent 5 years in prison. I was involved in both riots. The big riot was one after he got 5 years, and then he got out of prison and committed suicide. And I did, yeah.
What were the riots like?
Well, the first one was a peaceful march. The second one was the only time that I felt threatened by policemen. The police cars were blue back then. It was a time when cops were cool, and the police cars were blue and white, not black and white. And it was it became a scene at City Hall, and then it became pretty ugly, and cars, not that I was pulling police cars over or anything or burning police cars, but it was serious. It was the first time I ever felt afraid in a protest, because what was a candlelight march ended up being turning into violence. Yeah.
See, that's the thing about protests, man, is what I've experienced personally. Every protest that I've been to, and I've been to quite a few, is that, something like that, but, is that, especially if they turn ugly, turn violence, whatever, nothing gets solved because everything gets concentrated on these bad people created a violent protest.
The ones that were starting the fires, the ones that turned over.
Tipping over police cars and whatnot, the anarchists or whatever. And then nothing gets taken care of because they stop paying attention to what you're protesting on and start paying attention to these assholes that created a violent movement that was supposed to be a peaceful movement.
Right. That's what happened, and the police retaliated. They came to the Castro and started to burn. God, I'm so old. I remember that Elephant Walk. They started a whole thing and beat people up in the Elephant Walk. The police did. They were so mad. So it was a whole different time.
Now, what is the Elephant Walk?
The Elephant was a corner bar that Sylvester used to. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was a black singer who had some disco fame beyond San Francisco. Sylvester was his name. He used to sing Doobie Brothers songs. You don't know me, I'm your brother.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a drag. Sylvester was a drag, black, heavy, big black guy who dressed kind of in. Yeah, it was drag.
Okay.
This is everybody. No. Yeah.
Okay. And
boring stuff really.
what is the Elephant Walk?
The Elephant Walk was just a bar.
Oh, that was the name of the bar.
When I came to San Francisco, my father had died, and I bought a house at 45 Collingwood that I bought when I came here for $79,000.
Wow.
I know, and then I had friends who lived with me, and they all died one by one because the AIDS crisis came in '81, and by '89, all but one of them was dead.
That sucks, bro.
Yeah.
My condolences.
So I sold the house.
Yeah. Bad vibes, huh? Bad memories.
Well, I found
good memories that you didn't.
I found myself alone. I was standing at the top of the staircase, and everybody was dead, and I thought, I can't live here, you know. So
yeah.
I sold it.
I hear you, man. Like, you know, both Amy and I have lost a lot of people, especially this year.
Still to AIDS being a
No, not necessarily to HIV. That's a different generation. But to her age, we're a different generation. But
yeah.
to mine are mostly suicides and ODs.
The camera fell over.
Suicides and ODs are the main ones.
And what ones? The main ones?
Suicides and ODs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much where my buddies take it to. That level, you know. They let's see, a buddy of mine, this guy Stinky, he yeah, his name was Tim, Stinky Tim. He was the first one to go this year. We thought we were gonna have a good year, man, because every year once one starts, that's it. The ball starts rolling. And Stinky hit, it was like, holy shit, you know, we lost our boy Stink Dog, right? Good friend, everybody's. We're losing like top-notch soldiers, man. This is like no joke.
Here, they were here?
Weird, but no, this is in New Orleans. And he was found laying dead on the ground, and he had cracked his skull open on like a little step, you know. And it's like a sunken living room, you know, step. I guess he had slipped and fallen. He's a big-time alcoholic, and so he was probably drunk. No one really knows. It's New Orleans. So they didn't even really do an autopsy. You know? They kind of just I didn't go, but they had a Viking funeral for him.
A Viking?
Yeah, you know what that is?
I mean, no.
They take the ashes and they put it in like a balsa wood boat. And they light it on fire and put it out to sea.
Are you from New Orleans?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of New York, mostly Chicago. But I travel all around the country. That's how I met all these fools. That's how most of us did meet. Was traveling around.
My sister said to me once, she found a friend of hers after committing suicide, and she said, don't ever push open a door if you don't want to know what's behind it. That was her response to that.
Wow, that's interesting, man. Don't ever push open a door if you don't want to know what's behind it.
She found her friend dead in her bathroom.
Yes, folks, I pick good ones, don't I?
Yeah.
She found her friend dead in the bathroom. You know.
She had a dry sense of humor. She said when my mother's second husband, when he died, it would take him 10 minutes to hit the floor. He was so slow.
A very good friend of mine and Amy's fiance, ex-fiance, hung himself a couple years back. It's been a while now. And she was the last person he talked to. And he didn't really have too many kind words to say because he was pissed off. He could do that to you sometimes. R.I.P. to Jamie Toulon. Good buddy of mine. Him and his brother both died. Jamie hung himself on JP's his brother, his older brother, JP's birthday. Jamie hung himself on JP's birthday. And you remember that band Old Skull? I mean, this is not before your time or after your time. It's like, well, it'd be after your time. But you still might have heard of them anyways.
I remember Up to Disco.
Well, they were the youngest MTV punk rock band.
Okay.
And Jamie and his brother JP were in it. And that's not how I know him, but I'm just saying that's like their claim to fame. What I'm getting at is most of my friends are a lot of them are misunderstood. You know, Brad being one of them. We were talking about Brad earlier. You know, Brad was a professional skateboarder. He was a semi-professional DJ, did rave parties. You know, he had many talents. You know, and a lot of buried dreams. You know, for some reason I just can't seem to get a music career going for the life of me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But,
You missed me today. I was singing karaoke in the lobby.
I was singing. Are they doing karaoke?
Yeah, they do it once a month for an hour and a half, and once I started singing, I didn't care. I was singing House of the Rising Sun.
We were supposed to do Lead It Forward Nazi, remember?
It's hard to do. I have to hear a little of the voice unless I know the song really well. But actually, I didn't care. I didn't care once I started singing whether I sounded good or bad, you know?
It happens, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when I was in that little punk rock band for a while, and I had people over to watch us, you know, mostly friends of mine that came through town, I'd be a little shy at first, like, oh, dude, I'm gonna suck, they're gonna totally laugh at me and whatever, but then I'd just be like, fuck it, man, and just belt it out, and people say I sounded good. Of course, I always thought I sounded like shit. But what I'm getting at is I didn't care. I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I can kind of do a baritone, and if I don't, with a microphone, I can hit the keys once in a while, you know. I'm not totally off key, but I can't shift. I mean, I don't have any talent. I can play the piano.
You can't go, oh.
No, I can't, you know. I can't change to a different key or.
Well, let's take the talent. That's where the talent part comes in.
I have no talent for. I have a talent for words, maybe sarcasm, and.
By the way, folks, I gotta interrupt for this conversation for a second just to drop a little ad on these people. My album drops tonight, approximately midnight, California time.
From the ceiling.
It's going to be from the ceiling, yeah. It's going to be leaked. It'll be for free from around 12 midnight tonight to midnight to tomorrow night, I guess, Wednesday morning. So I'll have it on Facebook. Have it check out. You'll dig it. There'll be a bunch of songs on there for free. After that, it's donations only. $5 sounds good to me. $5 sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, or more or less.
I think it's worth at least 6.
6, so I like this guy. I think 7.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did put a lot of time into it. He's heard me because he lives. Actually, see, I live right there.
Yeah.
And then it goes like this, and then Mark lives right here.
I can hear the back. I can hear this. Oh, I haven't heard it lately. You must have
Here's his fucking.
No, I hear the sound. I used to hear it regularly, which was when you were working on the album, but you must have finished it. It was a track. In fact, I don't know if that was your first album or your second. I don't remember.
This is my first.
Oh, okay.
The other ones never happened.
Okay. Well, it must have been your first. It was one of the early songs on the first.
Okay, that could be years ago. I've been working on
this is in the last year.
Okay, that's the newest one. My newest attempt.
Not the one with people having orgasms. Not that song.
Oh.
There was another one. I was getting kind of used to it. It was kind of calming because I can at least recognize what's going on out there, versus the guy below you who's like this little troll Wizard of Oz looking guy that does. I don't know what he's doing. But
I don't either, man. Midlife crisis, fucking acid.
He's like a troll doll, one of those dolls with the hair.
It's spray painted on.
Yeah. I heard he's being evicted, but who knows?
Yeah. I think he needs to go. Personally, I'm not a big fan.
Is he the person that threw the bowling ball at your door? Was that the same?
No, that was that fuckhead Steve that lived underneath me. If one of my dogs, I don't think Stella was around that time. No, I don't think she was. But Rosie would step too loud, he'd be at my door, and then he made this mace. It was a hammer, wooden super hammer, and he had put a mace on the end of it, a big iron ball with like a nail sticking out it somehow.
Jesus.
On. And he fucking would, there was a chain attached to it, like a mace. You know? He would smack the door with it. And I have a funny story for you real quick. When this comes out of Amy's little body and mouth, I accidentally forgot to lock the door when I was going out to do something, you know. And probably told her to lock the door and she just didn't, you know, how it went. But I come back and she's all freaked out. She's got a fucking broomstick in her hand and she's smashing it on the ground and like grinding it and shit. And she's all fucking shaking. And I'm like, what the hell happened? She tells me, she's like, I don't know what happened to me, man. I'm losing my mind. I'm like, what? Because this guy had bothered us for a while. He was telling on us all the time, and then the cops come up there and he's a pain in the ass.
Before I came to this floor, obviously.
It might have been before you came here.
Yeah.
But anyways, Dion pulled a knife on him actually, because he pulled out his mace thing. Dion, my boy Dion, the one that Paradise Fire.
Yeah.
He pulled a knife on him, and they 86 Dion. He got back in.
Okay.
But anyways, he came to the door and he kicked open the door, and Amy was just sitting there. Brother Laney was just watching TV and shocked the shit out of her. And he goes, "You dumb white bitch, fuck you, cunt. I'm gonna blah 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 blah." And he was like, "Well, bring it on, N-word." He yells at him.
He was a tenant in 307?
He was downstairs,
Okay.
yeah. Picks up this wooden fucking, broomstick pole and fucking proceeds to charge at him. He takes off running. She follows him. He gets in the house before she can. She's got little legs. He closes the door. She starts smashing the door with the fucking stick, going, "Get out, you
Jesus.
N-word," over and over and over and over and over again, man. And then she takes candle wax. She ran upstairs, grabbed candle wax, and smeared it all over the eye hole so that he couldn't see who it was that was doing it. And she wouldn't say, "Come on out, bastard, you fucker, I'll get you the..."
Wow.
I'm like, wow, girl, I knew you had it in you, but damn! But anyways, it got resolved. He ended up moving. They moved him to another room, so now he was neighbors with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine at the time. I can't remember the guy's name, so it wasn't that great of a friend. He was becoming a good friend. And he was a black guy as well, right? So this dude thought he had like the clout, the brother clout. Well, dude was like, "You better leave my boy alone, fucking, that's my friend, you have to deal with me." And dude's just like, "What the fuck?" And my boy's like blasting his music too, after hours and shit. And I looked in the crack of the door one time and saw him as I was going to talk to dude. And he just had his head down and was just rocking back and forth like, "Rrr." Now mind you, check this out, this is the kind of guy, when he first did this shit, I saw him out front and I had just scored, some stones. And I was like, "Hey bro," I was like, "We gotta live together, man, we don't need this animosity, this ain't healthy, this ain't cool." I was like, "You get high?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's go upstairs and get high." Introduced myself, turns out his name is Steve. I just changed his name because my homeboy, my cousin actually, Steve, my best friend when I was a kid, died. And that dude doesn't deserve that name. That's my cousin's name. It's not a book. But anyway, so we talked and everything seemed cool. I interviewed him, we're getting to know each other. So I thought everything was cool. I shared my shit with him. I gave him a beer or whatever. And he left. And then went right back to his shit again, man. Like within the next day. He told on Amy for smoking in the lobby. He was just a snitch, a bitch, a tard, a fuck, or whatever Amy called him. Everything under the book, man. Guys sucked.
Must have been before I came here.
I think it was.
Because Greg lived below 307. Greg took the room. When I turned down a room that Greg, the guy's having dialysis here.
Yeah.
He took the room, a nice guy, Greg.
Greg's cool.
Yeah.
I see him every day.
Yeah, he's out there, yeah. He's doing peritoneal dialysis here, in a room with a bathroom. Daniel's room.
Died, man.
Remember Daniel, the guy? He got Daniel's room. I turned the room down
dare you?
And he got Daniel's room where Greg is now,
Who's Daniel?
344, 341. Daniel was, you know Daniel, he knew Robert. He was up there.
Oh, you mean the Twigger dude, the tall, skinny dude
Yeah.
with the bikes? He always had a weird bike.
Yeah, kind of handsome,
He's
kind of
like-
like model, kind of handsome model.
Twigger.
Yeah, tweaker and a drinker.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Fucking, he was a nice guy. He used to always buy anything that had a motor in it from me.
I didn't know that he was that kind of, I didn't know what he did. He just told me in the lobby about losing his wife or his girlfriend to bacterial encephalitis.
Yeah.
And it had me and Rhonda both in tears. The story was just like horrifying. You know?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, we pour one out for our buddy Daniel. There'll be more of those, I'm sure. Okay, so what moved you to San Francisco? You went to college.
Came here,
What did you study?
economics.
Get anything out of it?
Yeah, I read all 3 volumes of Das Kapital. No, yeah, I know, I understand economic theory, but
Yeah.
you know, it was basically radical economics, but I went away to school at a time where I went to school which was interdisciplinary, where a shrimp professor would be teaching a class, and it's like Santa Cruz, like UC Santa Cruz still is, and so is Evergreen. So
It's real
It was-
liberal or what they
yeah,
call it.
really liberal and real different ideas of education. And I didn't want to go to college, and you had to write an essay to get in, and I wrote an essay and I got in. So yeah, I don't really know whether or not it's was good, because I got in not too long after that into a pharmaceutical business
Mhm.
for 14 years, the kind that's, that kind of pharmaceutical business. I got into that. I had a friend who was moving to New York, and he had that business, and I bought it from him.
Nice,
So that was economic.
So
I
you
got the-
brought his numbers.
I bought his guest list, and then I expanded it from there, and kind of had a service that delivered and that stuff for what a long time. It's 14 years. Yeah.
With the
Back in the day,
vegetarian now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it was one person. It all hung on one connection. I think one connection. If that person, a native San Francisco, if anything would have gone wrong with that one connection, I would not have the business. But I never thought about it. I never thought about it. I never was, never met anybody in a parking lot. Never had a gun. Never had to front anything. Never had any of those that kind of stuff that goes along with it, And I had the legal secretaries were the key. Get the legal secretaries, because they would bring their own lawyers. They would bring the lawyers.
Okay.
And I only had one, speaking of suicide, I had one time. You had to be recommended. It reminds me of that Susan Sargent. There's a movie she does where she plays a dealer in New York. And has a delivery service and had a dark. And I remember one time I met a lawyer, a woman lawyer. She didn't live in San Francisco, she lived in Mill Valley, so I met her in the afternoons because I couldn't deliver to her. And I remember I met her in front of my P.O. box and got in her car, and we drove around the block speaking, not meeting people. And I told the person who had recommended her to me the next day that I didn't want to do business with her. I just didn't have a good feeling about it. I don't know if she was a woman. I don't know if it was the BMW. She just had a haunted feeling about her, and about 4 months later, she took her life. And so it was like really weird that I didn't predict that. I didn't think she was a risk to me.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I don't want to do business with this woman. I don't know her name. So it was that kind of, that was my economic. I wanted to cut out the middle part of working and go straight to the success.
I hear you.
And interestingly enough, it's a parallel to the way I was brought up. My father, I paid $5,000 for that business, and my father, when he was approximately my same age, he was given a business that was going under and said if he ever made any money, they could pay him, and he did. And he retired at 34 after he sold the business. So, well, I have a very parallel thing with my father, except his wasn't criminal.
Yeah. What did he do?
He brought propane gas to the high desert in a time when there wasn't piped gas,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of trailers and people in remote areas of the desert.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought that business and turned it into the founding fleet, as we used to call it. The name of the company was Rock Gas. And then he was told he wasn't going to live a long life because he had rheumatic heart fever as a child. And so the year I was born, he sold that business, and he went on to do other things, but he didn't. He stopped. He worked very hard until he was 34.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a poor Okie who rode cows, and we had the trunk that said California or bust that he came to California in. So it was kind of one of those stories.
I have an idea for a porta potty business.
Well, yeah, they're big.
It's called Where's the Potty At? And my porta potty comes with a fucking disco ball, fucking cigarette machine.
A porta potty
time
in,
machine.
right? Everything in the potty. So you're at those parades and stuff, and you go in full service.
Where's the potty at?
Yeah, that's
Right
a good
here.
idea. That's a good idea.
You know, it's one party at a time now. I was thinking about getting a 2-seater with a wall. Something.
And they're so horrible, those porta potties. They're just like, they're the worst thing to go into at a, I rafted down the Colorado River one time for a week, and we had to shit in a milk can that they put a toilet seat on top of,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to lug it out. You had to bring all your waste out of the Grand Canyon except your pee. So the pee could go in the water, but the waste they had to be lugged out in the big bottom of the pontooners that we went down on. So I'm telling you, that was pretty weird to take. It's just weird to be taking a dump in a can, and in the first few days, no one's going.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my God, I never forgot that. That's a good idea. There's something about that flimsiness of those containers, and it's.
I'm always afraid you're gonna get tipped over.
I know, like in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably mob money,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my porta potty business. Where's the potty at? Don't nobody steal that idea.
And I'm doing cotton candy. I have a cotton candy machine.
Cotton candy business.
And the name of the business is Cotton Fever. Good name. Cotton Fever Cotton Candy. Good for the neighborhood. Only people in the neighborhood will understand that title.
Yep.
I make it. It's good. It's good.
Have you made it?
Yeah, I have a machine in the closet. Have I made you any?
No.
I'll have to make you some.
How big is this machine?
It's just a home use one. It's
just a little like.
The only problem with it takes to give you
like an autoclave looking thing.
No, yeah, it just spins sugar. It just spins.
I was expecting this big, huge popcorn looking making machine.
It's like this, and it just spins. It heats and spins sugar. And the best cotton candy is just sugar, not. I tried the hard candies, not flavored sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good, but I'm not really pursued it much because around here,
Yeah, how much are you selling your things for?
I don't know. First, you have to give it away. Get people addicted.
Yeah.
To push the cotton candy.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I'd like to sell it in like little dollar chunks so that people could have little bits of it. Because that stuff that's packaged is terrible. The stuff you can get at the grocery store that's yeah. But I don't know. It's work.
Well, what is after your costs and everything? You deduct all that. How much you profiting?
I have no idea. I mean, I've never broken it down into 1 tablespoon will make. Probably takes 3 tablespoons to make a decent serving. So I'd have to figure out how much 3 tablespoons is of sugar.
Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure it's still on.
Don't stop.
No, it looks like it's still on. Let's see. Yep, still going. 34 minutes. You're one of my longest interviews.
Oh yeah, said nothing.
No, you said a lot. kind of wrap it up a little bit. It's gonna run out soon.
Okay.
Basically, what's been going on since after college? So you went did these little business ventures and whatnot. What brought you to the Cadillac? Let's put it that way.
What brought me to the Cadillac is the person I was with for 27 years passed away,
Okay.
and I don't really talk about it, but I tell people, I tell them what happened, but you'll understand, I tell people that he ran out to get the cat, was hit by a car.
Okay.
But he died suddenly, and I lost my mind, and literally lost my mind in over a period of 3 months. Really lost my mind, and I ended up just walking out of my life. At that time I was the vice president of a textile company, and I was really, doing really well, and it was too much of a shock in one moment on an answering machine that I just literally lost my mind. I was telling someone the other day that there's no explanation for your behavior in that moment because you're just not there. I just disappeared for a long time. And it took me years to come back here. And by then I had given all my money away, and I kind of just came back here when I had nothing, and I ended up in some supporting housing environment, and then somebody asked me if I was looking for housing, and they had a space here at the Cadillac, and I said I didn't know what was going to happen to me, and I thought, okay, I'll take it. And then when I came here, I realized I had eaten the Sizzler that was in the corner of this building many years ago, because we were totally in love with Sizzlers.
Okay.
So that's how I got here, just via someone said, there's a room here, and I just checked in on the day before the 1st of 2009. And it was a year before I realized that light bulb that was hanging from the ceiling could be changed from a light bulb.
Wait, what do you mean, light bulb?
Well, I didn't even pay attention to where I was. Hello.
Hey, we have a guest. A guest.
Yes. Oh yes.
Hey, my wife, right here. We're doing a real talk.
Alright, hold on. Hi, Mark.
Hey.
Hi,
Ready to
hi.
wrap it up?
Yeah.
It's kind of deep, so sorry to have
Oh,
her
sorry,
do
there you go.
like that, but,
Sorry.
Are you
I can go. Let me go.
you feel
No,
like
you don't. Yeah.
have a seat or anything? Do you
We're
feel
finishing.
like you come out of that at all?
Well, I was reminded I haven't come out of it when I went to move. When I was an hour in a brand new apartment with a bathroom and a shower and food in the refrigerator and a dishwasher and a living room and Wi-Fi, and I reminded that whatever they say about PTT, how permanent it was, that I was not capable of. I lasted an hour in
It's a
what
nice
everybody
pad, right?
what everybody would kill to have.
It's a nice pad.
Huh?
Nice pad, right?
Totally.
Right by
Did
the
you
stadium, too.
decide?
Mission Bay, right? For
My cousin, my really rich cousin, lives up there.
yeah. The whole new idea is to put low income people
Mix
mixing
them
in with everybody else, and they
Yeah.
don't think about how that feels.
Right.
But it wasn't that, it was the whole triggering of going back to some other life that
Not
I
knowing
don't.
it was.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's. I always say that I survived and didn't survive what happened in 2006, and it's just it was too much. I saw myself on the street, homeless. If I moved, I hadn't turned in the keys here yet, and I thought, I will not be able to stay there. I will lose this place, and I will be like nobody else.
Oh, right.
So that's what, yeah.
Well, we're glad you came back.
Totally.
Thank you.
So glad.
Especially because I was running myself ragged trying to get together a little party plan for you as well. I was like, fuck, who else is gonna move out now, man?
I was really sad, though.
A lot of
We couldn't
people are
imagine,
moving.
like, the place without you.
Darius
So
moves
much,
out. Darius moved out, which is a
Darius?
shame.
Yeah, he's
That's a
doing
big
good
one.
though. Unless he's faking it.
He's at the corner, isn't he?
Time.
Isn't he at the corner?
He's right next to Clyde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right next to it.
In that nice Mercy
New
building
condo kind of dealing.
studio.
Yeah.
It's got like it looks like it's being worked on all the time.
Yeah, he's.
It's always got construction stuff.
I think he's a saint.
Yeah.
See?
Well, he's just.
Serious?
Well, Robert says he's. I mean, I know he's usually bombed, but you
Yeah.
know, but he's always. Robert said he's a totally nice guy, and I think he actually is.
Yeah.
Yes. Very nice.
I don't know anything about him, but one time he helped me out of a jam.
Mhm.
with
No,
some
he's a good
guys.
dude.
You know, he just seems like a good
His
dude.
He
his own
puts on,
demons.
he puts on a persona like Mr. Tough Guy,
Yeah.
gangster, whatever, but he's a softie.
Yeah.
Oh, I never got that.
Oh,
I
don't
just,
tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
Oh, he's supposed to be a gangster.
He's Mr. Tough Guy.
He's pretty tough though. Oh,
Is
He
he
is
tough?
tough. He can't handle it.
Yeah, I heard he has a weapon in his pocket or.
Oh, he's got lots of
He's
weapons.
got stuff. Yeah.
But he's usually just kind of not.
He's watching.
He's
He watches.
Yeah. This guy threatened me in the lobby, and this guy who knows me from the third floor, and I asked Darius about it. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. He was just drinking." And the next day, the guy came at me, and Darius took him out of the lobby, and he went to the window and said, "He's just fucking with you." Like he did this whole man thing, like he got him out of my face, just totally.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Good guy.
You can rely on Darius to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The weird thing is he actually kind of tries to mind his own business. So I'm sort of surprised actually that he did that.
No, I know, because I don't get any sense of him sharing much about what's going on with him. He must have thought I was just strange, because I mean, I'm just like, I gave him a blender and, you know,
Oh, you
different
did?
things.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
'Cause-
For his new house?
yeah. And I gave him a. What did I
Did
give?
you come out to the party?
Yeah, I did for a little bit, but I didn't see him.
Oh,
Yeah, it took a while to get him out.
We couldn't get him out.
He came out too.
And he used to have. I think
Garbage,
he has
yeah?
a brother.
Garbage.
Yeah. There's somebody that used to come here with a white dog that looks a lot
Oh,
like
that was
Darius.
his buddy.
That's his friend.
That's his
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, I can't remember that guy's name, but
There was a
like,
dog
he
you got
like
that got
Italian
taken,
name,
right?
Dino or something.
He looks like Darius to me. The same
Yeah.
small nose and.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was his brother, but I haven't seen him in a while.
It's not
Well,
his
because
brother.
he visits Darius probably at Darius' new house. You know anybody else here? You know what I mean?
So he's moved, but I don't know who else has moved. Do you know the girl in the back that's new with the boy with the tall, long, hippie
Taylor
hair?
and
Oh yeah,
Joanna.
it's Taylor and Joanne.
Joanne, yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're cool. And
you know what's funny is Taylor's brother
Knows
was
you.
my
your brothers.
no. His brother was one of my best friends when I was a teenager.
That's right. He told me that he had some relationship to you.
Yeah.
Before he finally got
It's
a
just
place
I
at the
thought it was
center.
actually Ryan. His brother's name, my friend's name was Ryan.
So you were friends with his brother or him?
Yeah, his brother.
Okay.
And so I thought when I saw him, because I haven't seen Ryan for shit since '91.
Was that here in Berkeley you knew him?
Berkeley. Open. Yeah.
Those two came
He
out.
looked just like him.
Joanne and that guy came out the front door of the Cadillac one, and they were so lit up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought their feet were not going to be on the ground. I had never seen anybody. That's like me lit up alone. I had never seen anybody get off the ground. You know.
Yeah, they like to stay away.
Yeah.
Sturdy.
They enjoy themselves.
Is this sturdy?
I don't know. You know this chair is actually that's really been made that way.
Here,
Oh, that's enough. Aren't we done?
let's wrap this up. So anyways, this is my buddy Mark.
Hey, send by Ed's record. My book will be out next year called Face Down in '64.
All
This guy
right.
does a lot of research on
Cool.
stuff. He does have a book
For real,
coming
see?
out.
Huh?
Check it out.
For realsies?
For real, no.
Ah, come on. You better make it.
Jamie, let me say goodbye real quick.
Goodbye, real quick.
We love y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.
You know, people do podcasts and all this stuff.